We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace.
And stop right there. You see, this is where we have a problem. Back near the end of 2019, President Trump made this statement on national television. And the thing is, why this was such a big deal was gamers had long thought that this argument was done and over with. Back in the 1990s, there was a huge fuss about video games and violence in them, which created the ESRB rating system, which is still used on games today. But why does the government blame video games for violence in America? Well, back in the 1990s, there was this thing called the Columbine shooting. And the people who did the Columbine shooting were known for, well, playing video games. Violent ones specifically. Polygon says they enjoyed video games like Doom and Quake, which were popular at the time. Then some future school shooters also play video games, and the idea that violent video games cause these horrible incidents caught on, and everyone started believing it as fact, when it isn't. There can't be a correlation between violent video games and violent behavior, because then most people would be really violent. Video games are popular. An article by CNBC even states that 70% of high schoolers play violent video games, and only 20% of school shooters have reported playing these games. Also, then, if violent video games hypothetically were the cause of crime in this country, then that would also have to apply to other countries, which doesn't work. America doesn't live in a bubble. Other countries also play video games, and some countries play even more than us, and they are also perfectly fine, like Japan and South Korea. The US is the only one with a school shooting problem. Another common argument about violent video games is that they cause aggression, which is bad for us, and aren't wrong about it causing aggression. It does cause a spike in aggression.
Don't let it get to you.
You shut the fuck up!
also,
You shut the fuck
let it
up!
hit you a little bit.
You shut the fuck up!
Put his head back on. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh, yeah, we're done for tonight, nigga. We're done for tonight! Fuck that piece of shit! Fuck this game, bro! No! No! Oh! Oh, shit!
These special staters are horrible.
Can fuck right off and shove its hairy down a fucking busting cunt.
But it's a very similar type of aggression that you would get from a sports player. It's not a murder type of aggression, more of a frustration aggression. The LA Times had an article saying plenty of gamers get upset when they lose or feel the game was cheating, in quotation marks, but it doesn't lead to violent outputs. Most people end up just getting frustrating with the game itself more than, well, others. So it's just not likely that violent video games would inspire mass violence, because there would be so many problems at video game competitions around the world. The only time that a shooting has happened at a game event was at a Madden tournament. And for those who don't know, Madden is a football series made for all ages. So obviously there was something wrong with the person, not the game. Or most football players would be murderers. But moving on from things that video games don't do, let's actually talk about some things that they do. Like the fact that they actually help people. Besides just the normal things like being able to blow off some steam, it helps old people fight dementia and losing memory by keeping their brains active. The ESA, Entertainment Software Association, talks about benefits like how girls who play video games are 3 times more likely to pursue STEM majors. The article goes on to say that employers are starting to realize that video game players are actually have a certain set of skills that are not usually found in non-video game players, like easy trainability, strategic thinking, and adaptability. So considering the benefits, we really shouldn't get rid of video games, especially since they don't do the things that were previously mentioned. Now, one argument that does slightly hold some water is the argument about how kids shouldn't have access to rated M video games, And that is completely fair. Little kids should not have access to games for adults. But remember that ESRB rating system that I mentioned earlier? It covers that. Little children cannot buy rated M games without a parent's permission. So if you're worried about little Timmy playing a game he's not supposed to, all you have to do is put the restrictions in play and not blame the world for it. Video games don't cause gun violence, no matter what President Trump says or any uninformed government employee. The American government likes to use video games as a scapegoat to escape, the bigger problem of gun control in this country. But that's a larger argument. This is just a defense of video games.